Peace and love, peace and love. Sister Zinga here from Flowing and Growing and Sisters with Sister Zinga, our YouTube channel where we are working on emancipating ourselves from mental slavery. Hey y'all, thank you for subscribing, for clicking that notification button, and click it if you haven't clicked it yet. That allows you to be able to get a notification every time I do a video. So sometimes it may be in the morning and afternoon, sometimes it may be even the next day. But I'll be trying to get one in every week. So thank you for loving, caring, and sharing. And I really love when people do comments. You can comment on what I said, or you can correct me if I'm wrong, or you can just leave a note there about, well, let's talk about this, let's do this, let's do that. So I just want to say thank you before I even get started. But, we're here today to talk about like some things that, I'm getting what you call tongue-tied. Just thinking about all the things that we have to deal with as a people here. And I'm just trying to give you some more stuff to make you think, well, okay, yeah, damn. Because, one of our mottos is think it ain't illegal yet. So really think it ain't illegal yet. And that's the acronym that says take it hold of and implementing new knowledge. Because if you just learn all this stuff and you've seen it, and the thing is, but we experience it. But why are we not implementing? Why are we not making changes? Well, some of the things we're going to talk about, and these are the reasons why. So I do understand. So I won't say why. I do understand because it took us a long time to get into the situation. It's going to take us a long time to get out. But we got to start making decisions that's going to be that will be things that will work out better for us. And of course, the first thing you need to do is just to be still and find out what you came here for. Find out about what your relationship is with this world. Why did I come here? What am I supposed to be doing? Okay, and that's creating a relationship between you and the Most High, and everybody needs to have that. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about a serious spiritual relationship, a one-on-one, because really we are one. We are really just one. The Creator created all of us in His image, and so we are one. We are just Him, and He sent His Son to represent, to show us an example of how we're supposed to do on this earth. Because I guess a long time ago, there weren't many of us here, and so He showed us, to be righteous, to make good decisions, to love one another, to be neighborly, to have compassion, those simple things, so it's important that you do trust in something, like I said, it doesn't have to be an organized something, and you don't have to go to church, you don't have to go to the mosque, you don't have to go anywhere to be able to have this relationship with the Most High. This is a personal thing. It's just between you and the Most High. Just you and the Most High. So some of the reasons why we're in this situation, because all the things that have happened to us are very, very, very intentional. Very, very intentional. I would say explicitly intentional. Everything that they do. Because do understand that we were just, we were over in the land they call Africa, but that's really not the name of it. And we were civilized, living as kings and queens. And then here they go venturing out, trying to see what's going on here, what's going on there. And, then they come there and see, oh, okay, well, these people got this, these people got that. And then they're going to come with their ideas and kind of, try to persuade us to do otherwise. They say that some of our people was involved in the slave trade. I mean, well, look at us now. Some of our people are killing each other. Some of our people are doing each other wrong. We're robbing from each other, killing each other. They put situations in front of you that makes you do shit that you really wouldn't naturally do. So yeah, they may have been involved, because they may have, same way people grease your palm nowadays, and and then you go lie on somebody or lie or tell the truth on somebody, or what they call snitch, or even do something that's really not even true. Some type of lying, deceitful type of something against one another, against your own sister and your brethren. Because they give you a house, they give you, say, I'll do this for you, I'll do that for you. Just like they got all these rappers tied up and they're giving them money and cars or that kind of stuff. And they willing to sacrifice their family members and, a friend or even themselves to get them for them to get these monetary things. So this is what they do. This is what they do. So, when we look at our situation and why we're in this situation, it's because these people are deceitful. They're intentional in getting what they want. They will manipulate, deceit, and do all these things until they get what they want. And so they came here to this land, what they call America. That's really not the name of that either. So do some research on about that. And they came up with these ideas. I believe and that we, on the lands that we call America or wherever we are, that when the Most High created these worlds, he gave us everything that we needed. Meaning that he gave us the wood that we need to cut down the trees to build our homes. He gave us rain. He gave us animals to eat. He gave us fruits and vegetables, to eat for us to survive. We have everything that we needed. Everything that we need to survive and live in this world. But then somebody else came with this idea and say, how can I capitalize on this? That's why they call this a capitalistic society. How can I capitalize on this? Meaning, how can they make money off of it? And so all the things that was free. So they cut down all the trees and, to start building these concrete things. And then, of course, they left some of it, but they left it to the point where they controlled it. Because after they came and invaded these certain places, all over the world, then they took the resources from those places. They manipulated the people into wanting close to nothing, or trading themselves or, their children or whoever. And then they got to a point where they just said, okay, well, look, I'm going to give you this, but you got to give me that. And in some instances, they didn't even say that. They just took the shit. They just came up with guns or swords or whatever, and they just killed us and took it. In many civilizations, they even did that. But they fought amongst themselves first, and that's why they start going out to, to other countries and other lands, and trying to pillage those lands too. So we do know that this is how they have gotten to the point where they are. But they just said, well, how can I do this? How can I make some money off of it? And so they took the things and then they hoarded it and said, okay, well now if you want, some water, you got to pay for the water. But water was free. If you want some apples, oranges, pineapples, you got to come to me and get it. Come to a supermarket. They created this thing called a supermarket. So just understand that these things that we have is something that somebody made up. It's not the structure. It's not the way that God created it to be. Someone made up this shit in the way so they could capitalize on it. So now you got grocery stores. Now you have the water company, dishing out the water. Now you have everything that we need, we have to go to them for. But believe me, it's just something that was made up, along with the fact that this educational system, they took our languages away from us, and not just us. They took our language away from all the different places that they came and took over and cheated people out of. But I'm just going to really just talk about us for the most part. So they created this educational system because we used to educate our own children. We used to educate our own, and we lived a certain life. So there were people who did the building, there were people who did the fishing, there was people who who worked and did the hunting, people who would cut the trees down to build the homes. All that kind of stuff was already in place. This is how we functioned, and we used the resources that we were given naturally. And I just love so much when I go out in the bush and stay out there and see what I need. And one time I told you, I didn't tell you, but I think maybe I did, that I intended to spend one night, but I ended up spending 2 nights. But it really wasn't a problem because all we did was just go out in the yard, out in the bush, and we was able to get some lemongrass for tea. We was able to get some squash. We was able to get some chaya, which is a green vegetable. I mean, we had everything here that we needed. Definitely, we had mangoes, we had papaya, we had cassava. So we had food. So when you live like that, you have everything that you need. And so there's no need to have all these material things that we have. This is somebody else's idea, y'all. It's somebody else's idea. So what I want to talk about is even this BS educational system that they put in place. So they came up with this idea of let's educate them. Okay, but it's important that you can't let somebody else educate you, because then they take away your language, your culture, your history, your ideas. So they came up with this thing that we have to go to school from kindergarten to 12. But do you know within that 12-year period, it's like a brainwashing. So they tell you their narrative. They create the narrative. They're not telling you the truth about what happened in all these wars that we fought in. They're not telling you the truth about where we participated, or they're not telling you how over time how we invented all the different things that we use and function on today. They're not telling you nothing of that. So they have their narrative and they tell you this, and they're telling you us that that we ain't this, that we can't do that. The images that they show us, especially when it comes to beauty, they're talking about this is beauty. When they show on TV, this is a beautiful woman. Oh, hell no. Ain't nothing more beautiful than a black woman. Now, I know can't nobody dispute me on that. Ain't nothing more beautiful because we have a natural beauty. But they came up with this is beauty. And so then through the educational system, they made us kind of just forget the fact of who we were. And they made us want to be something other than ourselves. They made us want to be something other than ourselves because they talked about the what we were. We were shiftless and we were lazy and we was this, that, and the other. How the hell did they build up America if we was lazy? Huh? Who's the ones who built it? Who's the one who created, all the different appliances, the elevator, the street light, the washing machine, the cell phone? We invented that shit. We did. So we ain't lazy. We are very creative. We have smart minds. But they have dumbed us down to think that we're not. So they showed you that if something good happened, then it was a white person doing it. Just like they even use the color. If it's something white, bright, it's supposed to be something good. If it's dark or black, it's supposed to be something bad. So they are the ones who gave us this idea about that they came up with. But I want you to understand that it's just something that somebody came up with, and then we were taught it. But we can unteach it. And we can do things for ourselves. We don't have to do this. So and then when it comes to when they was doing the things through the school system, how they test you. So they would tell you this bullshit, and then they would test you to see if you got the bullshit it put in your mind. So they're filling your mind with this garbage. And do you know how like nowadays that most schooling that's being taught is most of the curriculum is just built on testing. So that means they tell you this stuff and they want you to regurgitate it back. That means they got it up here, that they got you when you can pass that test. And so anything else that you had in your mind, and if you think about it, you analyze it, that's not up there. They use the testing to just test us out to make sure that we got it. And so now think about this, y'all. You know that most school systems, most curriculums is just based on testing. Sometimes the teachers can't even go and input things for holidays or whatever little extras, little special something, current events or anything like that, because they got to make time for this testing. And then the wording that they put on the testing is not something that we're used to be able to, with words that we use or words that's common in our dialect or in our neighborhood, because our dialect, this really ain't our language. And so even when they word the testing, it's what's the word I want? It's worded in a way that sometimes it's not easy for us because that's not how we talk. That's not our natural language. And so when they test you, the tests are not even fair. In the way that they use the words that they use is not even fair. And then the scenarios that they give you, it's not a fair thing. And so now when you go through from kindergarten, that's 12 years. And so within those 12 years, you didn't test it to the point that, you think that this shit is your truth. So your other truth that you had, that you growing up or whatever your mama teach you, and the things when you go spend the time down south or whatever the relatives ask, and you learn different things from your mama and them, that all that stuff goes to the wayside. So do you see the program that they're doing with the school system? They test you and test you so much to the point that you get to the point that you are making their narrative your truth. You hear what I'm saying? They're making their narrative your truth. And so you just forget all the things about where you came from and what you knew before, all your cultural vibes, isms, schisms, and so forth. And you have been brainwashed to the point that with this testing, that you just test and you put that stuff in your mind because you want to pass the test, because you want to get a good grade according to what they say is a good grade. And then that becomes your truth. And so that's why we're in a situation that we are, because we have been brainwashed to follow the narrative that they have given us, and that bullshit becomes our truth. But y'all, we got to get out of that, because that's not our truth. That is not our truth. It's just been repeated in our head over and over and over again to the point that we're that it's our truth. And then they repeatedly show us on TV or in certain movies and so forth, who dies first. We always die first. When they show a black person, the black person is being a servant. The black person is doing something, for working for white people. They're doing most of the labor jobs. They're doing they show us killing each other. It's just a regular. They just so this becomes our reality. They're making this shit our reality, but it's not a reality. They created it, y'all. This is a movie. They have created it. So this shit that they showing us is really not true. It just is what they've taught you. It doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it the truth. It's just what you've been taught, and you use it, and it becomes your normal. It becomes your normal. I talked about that one day about if you do something over a certain period of time, and then if you make a change, so that thing that you do is normal. And then once you make a change to that stuff, then you're going from tradition to transition. And then once you go through transition, then you continue to do that thing over and over and over again. It becomes a transformation. Now that becomes your normal. That becomes your tradition. And that's what has happened to us. To the point that, they got all these videos out, and we call each other bitches, and, that we killing each other. They came up with that word nigga. We call ourselves that. We degrade our own selves. So we have to get out of that. We have to stop doing this thing. Understand that this is a narrative that someone else has created for us, and then they have made it to be our truth. But it's not our truth. It's only what we have been taught. And we're smart enough to unteach this shit and go back to what we know. We cannot continue to do our history. They showed us as being uncivilized, hanging from trees. They created that TARS and stuff, and had us just walking around. The women walk around with no shirts on, but even though that's what it was. That is true that we used to walk around with no shirts on because we weren't all this sexy stuff going on. It was no big deal for a woman to be able to expose her body. But they came up with that Tarzan idea that we hanging through trees, and that we do this ooga booga stuff, and then we eat this, we eat bugs, and we eat, that kind of stuff. That's not who we were. That's not where we came from. If you go to Africa right now, when I had my store, I showed this map of Africa, and I showed how the architecture looked in these certain places. But that's not the stuff that you see on TV. That's not what they showed us. But the architecture and the buildings, all that kind of stuff in Africa was beautiful. And it is, I would say it is beautiful. But we've been brainwashed to think something other than that. Media, they showed us examples of what is beauty. Come on, y'all. That's not beautiful. So what we do, we go and we want to do things to ourselves. We lighten our skin. We fix our noses. Poor Michael Jackson, man, they tore that brother up. He went from being that little brown-skinned brother with a fro to this little white-looking something with his pointed nose, and then he that was sad. That was sad how they really brainwashed him into thinking that he needed to be this. This man had talent and could go far from where what he had. But they stimulated him so much to the point that made him think that whatever he had was not good. That thick nose and that hair was not good. And if you're going to be a movie star, or you're going to be a famous singer or whatever, you had to look like this. That's a bunch of bullshit, y'all. So I just want to keep saying that y'all understand it's something that we was taught. It doesn't make it true. It's not real. We're living in an illusion. We're only living in the shit that they have taught us, and that they tell us that this is right, what's wrong. But we're coming about and we're learning stuff. And so you have to accept that fact. Accept these facts about the reality. Accept the facts about the reality. It's like you think that, okay, they show people on TV like that dumb stuff, like the Hollywood wives and the Atlantic wives and the football players' wives and all that kind of stuff. They live in that life because they have convinced these football players to live that life too, to have, they're giving them the money. But what they doing, they spend all the money on having 10 cars, having these fancy houses, having, buying these crazy ass looking watches. A watch tells time. And anything from a $19.99 for a $9.99 watch, it tells time the same way that a $9,000 $99.99 watch does. But they make you think that if I have this, if I got that, then I'm somebody or I'm something. But you are something. God created you. You are something without all that stuff. So I want you to understand that this is an illusion that we live in, and we're in this situation because this is an idea that somebody has come up with. All these ideas is ideas to make money. A lot of these things were available to us freely, But now we have to get it, and we have to get it. We have to pay more money for it. Why is it? Why is it that if you want to live healthy, that you have to pay more to live healthy? But you can go get some slop and get some free food or some, like they try to give you this 50 cents, this 1 cent burger. Really? I just hope that nobody ate that shit. But you take people to the water, but you can't make them drink. Even something as simple as 3 meals a day. That was a control thing that we really don't, now that you're, some of us that are into ourselves and we know the kind of things that we do, we know that really if you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're going to end up being obese or either definitely sick because of the shit that's in the food that we eating. So you don't have to eat 3 times a day. You eat when you're hungry. And you see now they come up with all these little diets now, don't eat till 12 o'clock and don't eat till after 8 o'clock. Why is somebody got to tell you when to eat? You eat when you're hungry. So these are all ideas, and even this stuff, vegan and vegetarian, that's somebody else's idea. This is a word, all these things that they make up the words. So now you're going to follow be a vegan. The vegan tells you to do this. If I'm a vegan, I got to eat this. Why you got to have somebody tell you what to eat? Why come you just can't just choose to eat healthy food and make good choices? Just don't eat no junk. It's a control thing, y'all. It's a control thing. Understand that, okay? Understand that. So all these things that we do, this is just a movie. It's an illusion, y'all. This shit is not real. Create your own reality. I beg of you. Even this thing that they tell us that Juneteenth, we supposed to be free. I was so happy when I found this T-shirt, and I found this T-shirt at a thrift store. It says Juneteenth, free-ish, because we ain't free, free-ish. I said, well, this is what I will wear, because I probably wouldn't wear a shirt that says Juneteenth, because that shit ain't really true. We ain't free. We weren't free and during that time of that Juneteenth mess. I said, okay, now if this is free-ish, okay, yeah, because we ain't free. So all this shit, and I'm sorry to cuss y'all, but I'm just really want you to understand the severity of how I mean what I'm saying. It's only an illusion. You do not have to do what they say. Even when they tell you that, we got to really think about this, because we know that these doctors are not good for us. When they tell you when your child is 1 year old, he's supposed to get this shot, supposed to get that shot, supposed to get that shot, all that kind of 1 year old, 5 year old, 6 year old, that's not true. You really don't need that. If you breastfeed your baby will have everything that it needs for their child to be healthy. And in addition to that, even them going deeper, a little depth when it comes to the placenta. When the placenta comes out, if you allow that baby to get all that juice and all that stuff, those valuable nutrients and so forth that's in the placenta, then your child will be very healthy. But they tell you as soon as that baby come out, click, cut that cord. Excuse me. Because they want to start getting you on that nonsense and putting this other stuff into the baby. But I just want you anything that you want to do in life, think about it for yourself. Think, y'all, it ain't illegal yet. This is just a movie. This is something that they have created, and we playing the damn parts. So I'm getting kind of long, but I just wanted to make sure that I covered a lot of things, because I really want you guys to think, because it ain't illegal yet. Thank you for listening, guys, and really think about this. So you don't have to do what they say. When they come up with these new ideas, if they come up with a new idea, you better believe it's some kind of way they have found to do whatever they was doing before in a cheaper way for them. But it's going to cost you more. They're going to tell you, now we got this technology, and now, it's going to cost this. All this stuff with all the way from, from microwave, then the convention oven, and now they got the air fryer, all that kind of stuff. It's just another damn gadget to buy. Just put your shit in the oven a little bit. Don't be so lazy. Just put your food in your pan on your stove, heat it up, warm it up, eat it. And some foods really don't need even to be warmed up. You don't, they tell you got to eat hot food. You don't have to. They tell you that you need to have a meat and 2 vegetables. That's not true. I mean, when are we going to start thinking for ourselves? This shit they tell us, it's not true. It's what they tell us. It may be what everybody does, but it's not the truth. And it doesn't make it the truth. It doesn't make it a fact because you're told to do this. It doesn't make it so. It's just what everybody does. So remember that this programming is done from the kindergarten. Please, in school, please talk to your child every day after school and find out, well, what did the teacher say today? What happened in school today? Interesting. To kind of see what kind of relationship your child has. Because, they do stuff to our children, especially, I'm not saying that everybody is bad. But sometimes, they will single you out. Your child may come home and say, well, today, Miss So-and-so gave everybody a new pencil except for me. Because maybe you're the only black child in the class, and they intentionally doing that shit to make you feel some kind of way about yourself. I mean, these are the kind of things that they can do. That's just a small example, but there's things that they can do. There's things that they can say to our children when we're not there. We cannot trust them. That's the point, y'all. Don't you know now that you cannot trust everything for face value? You cannot trust nobody. Shit. Because now, it's getting, I know I'm going on, but now, we got uncle somebody or uncle or auntie somebody who's doing shit to your children, molesting them. Or your own daddy. You marry a man and even your own husband molesting your damn children. That's a whole other conversation. But y'all, don't trust nobody. Let's protect the children. This is about the children. I know we're comfortable, I'm in my 60s and so, but I got grandchildren. So I just be fighting for the truth to come out. And I want my children to know the truth. And you should be doing the same, because we have been lied to. We have been deceived. We have been manipulated. And we got to get out of that. We got to come out of that and start learning the facts. You see shit that's going on. They did this thing a couple years ago and shut everything down on a fucking lie. Now we're knowing it's a lie. But you know what thing? But so enough of us fell for the okie doke that they're going to bring the shit back again. So what y'all going to do this time? And again, I want to tell you, please start stocking up on water in your house. Get you about 2 or 3 cases, just leave them there. Certain foods that you like, get it and just leave it there. Because some shit's going to come down the pike. When you go to the grocery store, look at the shelves. See what's going on. Look at the prices of the things. So I'm just saying that, y'all, it's so much. But I'm just saying, think it ain't illegal yet. You've got to be able to think for yourself and see how this stuff is working out for you. And make a decision about how you can use things, how you can manipulate things yourself to make it out for the greater good for yourself or your own. For you or yours. It's all a lie, y'all. This is just a movie. It's an illusion. This shit ain't real. Okay? You know it. So start doing something about it. Taking hold of and implementing the new knowledge that you're getting. Why you know stuff and then you just keep doing the same old thing because that's the same old thing? Because that's what everybody else does? Don't you love yourself enough to make a change? Self-love. Self-love. That's what we need. That's what we got to start. Self-love. So I'm going to end it here, y'all. Thank you so much for continuing to listening and support the channel, because I just want to be able to share a little bit with something. We must emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. And we better think, because it ain't illegal yet. I'm going to end there. God loves you, so do I. Peace and love, y'all. Peace and love.